Family trust
Ooh.
respect. Family trust respect. Family trust respect.
Family trust respect. Kill every Raider fan in the world right now. No, I'm telling you.
God, I'm gonna stab somebody right now.
Yikes.
That game was just beyond hard to watch. You know what I mean? And guys, it's so tough when I don't know. It's really hard when it feels like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? Like
Yep.
we're good, and then we just wet the bed for a whole quarter or something, and it's like, what is going on? Like, and I can't. Again, I'm never gonna say that it was the other team that beat us, because what I'm seeing, and guys, in the comments down below, we're gonna review the stats, we're gonna go all this stuff. We're beating ourselves. We're stubbing our toes through the whole process, right? And the injuries are mounting, guys. Sebastian Joseph Day went out.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it is not
right at the end of the game
good.
too.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Right
time.
at the end of the game. Yeah. Anyways, and Chris Rump, good point. Francisco, Chris Rump, holy smokes, he looked bad. Anyways, so let's review the stats. Should I share my screen, guys? Can you? I should probably share my screen. Let's let me do this.
Make sure take down P Hub.
What's P Hub? What you talking about? Oh shoot! Hold on.
It's makes it as Raiders Hub, right? Yeah.
Raiders. Oh my god! Please don't tell me that, dude. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. All right, let me share my screen here. Okay, guys, you should be seeing it now.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, here's the box score. Look, I mean, guys. So I'm going to give you thoughts here, right? Now, again, I'm going to sit back and say something about Brandon Staley, specifically what he said. Against the Cardinals, what he did was he said, okay, we are going to take away the pass. And they did. Yep. They sold that out for the pass. Bottom line, that's exactly what they were doing. Here is technically stop the run because of Josh Jacobs. Couldn't do that. We also didn't stop the pass. I mean, look at this. Look at Jacobs. Yeah. Donkey punching us. I mean, good God, 5.5 yards a run. And then Devontae Adams, donkey punching us again. There were two guys that beat us. And do not tell me Derek Carr he did not beat us. It was those two guys that beat us. And guys, that was bad coaching. That was bad coaching on our end. So, I mean, to me, that's what I took away. I don't know about you guys. And, guys, in the chat below, please say what you think. Say what your thoughts are. This is an opportunity platform for you guys to vent, right?
Yeah.
And I have to actually, what are your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts, guys? And then I got more that I'll throw out there as well too. I gotta let my blood pressure tick down a little bit here. I'm about, let's see, my heart rate's over 100 still, so I need to chill out.
Yeah, I felt like my heart was pumping the entire game. And,
entire second half for sure. I felt pretty good first half for sure.
Yeah, and then what do we do basically after the second half? We basically gave up a fumble, and then immediately after that, a 2-point basically flea flicker for a touchdoand. That's basically where the game changed. And going back to Andy's point about what we did defensively, first off, I mean, I'm going to say Derek Carr did beat us. And the reason why is because he almost threw 300 yards on us.
Right.
And straight up, you can't do that. You can't have a running back that did 144 something yards on you. Plus you have a receiver that catches let's see, let me go back to his thing. 144 yards rushed on us, 26 carries, and then he had a receiver, Devontae Adams, 8 catches for 177, 2 touchdowns.
I mean, there was nobody else on the field.
Derek Carr beat us. Josh Jacobs beat us. We could give up on one side of the ball, which was the run game. And to be honest, in the first half, we were doing pretty good. I think we had about 6 different stops on first downs to be able to not allow big rips and put them into passing situations. Derek Carr found a way to get the right person in the right position to be able to get the first down and keep the ball moving along. Bottom line, we went against one of the worst defenses in the league and got 1 touchdown. 1 touchdown.
Yep. That's really
completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. And it's awful to watch this. Yeah, I know the injuries and everything. We could always say that. Hey, we could even talk about that pass interference call that was a no call on Allen for that late
That was garbage too. That was garbage.
Hey, whatever. That's how the cookie crumbles all around. And sometimes we get the calls, sometimes we don't. And this time we did not. So it's an absolute frustration to watch this game. And Kyle, what's your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, it was like our adjustments after the half were completely non-existent.
Yeah.
We made no adjustments. They made all the adjustments, and they made the right adjustments. So like, I don't understand why we keep doing that. Like literally, we're not changing our game plan at all in the second half, and we expect to win.
Yep.
What the hell, dude? Hey. Yeah, literally, right, Danny? Like, let's call Sean Payton right now.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna get him on the phone. Hey, we're here.
Hey, Sean, what's up, man?
Hey, what it is, ho? What's up?
What's up? Well, okay, so one of the things I want to talk about is right here, guys. 5 sacks, right?
Yep.
And we have had fuck all pressure this entire season ever since Joey Bosa went down.
I'm gonna get you some soap, bro.
I know. Yeah, Mom. Hey, we have no more.
Yeah, Mom anymore. So it's all good. It's all good.
But I don't even know what that means. I mean, we had zero pressure. It was just awful. Like we had nothing
absolutely
to be able to try
horrible.
to pressure.
Yeah.
Like it's frustrating.
So again, to your point, right? You said Derek Carr beat us. Look, again, what does Brandon Staley always say? It's 3 phases of the game. Part of that is actually putting some damn pressure on a quarterback.
Yeah.
And arguably, he's a subpar quarterback. We all know he's not a Justin Herbert. We all know he's not a Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. And, Rodgers.
Yep.
But guys, when we never get he could bake a cake back there. He was just sitting there, just bouncing around, waiting for. I mean, that one pick or that touchdown that he threw to Devontae Adams, that was a deep route. We're talking
huge. Yeah.
Like in the NFL, you cannot give a guy that much time, right? So, not that he necessarily beat us. We just couldn't do anything to put any pressure in his face. Now you can argue we got injuries, yada yada, but I'm kind of tired of that argument, right? It's just I'm tired of it. Like it's just you're done. I'm done hearing excuses at this point, right? And look, I love Brandon Staley. I think Brandon Staley's a great coach, and I think he's coaching his man. But you got to start asking these really hard questions, right? And again, we all know my frustrations towards Joe Lombardi.
Yeah.
But, honestly, he's not doing a lot to make us look good defensively at this point, right? I mean, and again, my point is, look, he said, well, we want to take away one of the pass or the rush or the run. Well, we didn't do either one. 2 people on that team beat us, right? And I don't know. That's just it's beyond frustrating. So, and then our running game is completely non-existent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just horrible. 72 yards. I mean, absolutely horrible. So, I don't know, guys. Playoffs, that conversation's a little bit in the back burner at this point. But again, something we should still discuss. But it's playoffs.
It's like, actually, while you were talking about all that stuff, I was actually just kind of playing around with like my playoffs model. Essentially, the way I see it going, bottom line is we have to win the next 2 games. Bolt bro down.
Bolt bro back down.
There he is.
That was weird. What happened there, guys?
I don't know.
I hit the wrong button.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, man.
So I was saying is that like my playoffs model currently is that we definitely have to beat the Dolphins and the Titans no matter what. Now, if we don't, we're out. Hands down. But if we do beat either one of them, then we can potentially lose to the Broncos and the Rams, or the Rams, one of the 2, and we can still make the playoffs at the end of the season. But that's just I mean, that's a huge order. We got to take out the Titans and the Dolphins. Essentially, we'd be playing. Well, we wouldn't be playing spoiler for either one of those teams at that point, though, too, because they would still be able to get in with my current model of how their rest of the season is going to go, too.
Right.
I mean, the thing about it is like we have 5 games left. Literally, the time is ticking. The Jets did lose today, so there's essentially 1 game back from them. Patriots are still in it, so it's kind of like they're floundering in that position still too. So it really still comes down to we have to be 4-1 by the end of the season. Now, It's tough when you start seeing all these injuries. I mean, we literally had Brandon Hymus on the line there for a little while for Zion's position. We had Will Clapp. We had basically Jamari Sawyer getting smoked by Chandler Jones. And then we had Forrest. Was it Forrest Merrill? I believe. We always
Forrest
forget
Merrill.
his dang name. On the right tackle. I mean, it's just the injuries are just stocking up for us, and it's so hard to be able to look at this now. Personally, I'm going to say, yeah, if we beat the Titans and the Dolphins, I think that's the most Charger-esque thing ever. Once again,
Yeah, right.
So I just don't see that happening. Maybe get one, if that. But if we lose these two, I think that's a wrap, in my opinion.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think we lose these two, we're done.
Yeah,
you guys can see this, correct? The bus rankings here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Here, let me. I could try and zoom it in, but I don't want this thing. But here
No,
you go.
that's all good.
Chargers are the absolute most banged up team in the NFL, and then the Rams. Look at the Rams, right?
Yep.
Look. Again, I never want to make excuses, but dude, look at the teams that are up here, right? Now, this one's kind of a funny one. Houston.
Yeah.
You know, they're just not a good team, but they're healthy.
Yeah.
You know, but Green Bay, you know, look, these are the teams that are doing well. I mean, if you were to take this percentage of teams that are winning compared to this, you know, these are some of the better teams. I mean, you know, Dallas doing great. Jets are doing great. San Francisco. The funny thing about San Francisco is I keep thinking like, well, who's out on their team at this point?
Jimmy
Can't
G
think of anybody.
He's done.
Well, yeah. Well, Well, this is also week through week 12 though, too, right? So Jimmy G wasn't taken into account here.
Yep.
But again, it's tough, right? When you sit back and think about, you know, how banged up some of these teams are.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. I mean, it's really hard when you sit back and start thinking, okay, where do we really stack up? And again, you know, one of the things that I've always been frustrated with the Chargers is we always have so much talent. Remember the beginning of the season, guys? How many guys do we have on NFL's top 100? We had
8.
The most of any team.
We had 9 or 8 or something like that.
It was 8. We had
the most of any team. Yeah.
Most of any team in the NFL. Now, you could argue a lot of those players are out, right? And again, that's Mike Williams. Keenan Allen's been out for most of the season. Joey Bosa's out. You know, we're struggling. Hey, sis, what's up? And throw your questions out, guys, as well, too. Any comments, you know, we'll start highlighting them as well, too. But again, this is something to kind of look at, right? And say, okay, this is one of those situations where, oh my God, you know, you know, our banged up score is very high, right? We are definitely getting hammered, right? And I remember when we played Jacksonville. Jacksonville has been number one. They've been the healthiest team in the NFL the entire season, right? I remember when we played them, they were just like no problems, dude. They had nothing, no issues at all. And you know, it just frustrates me. So you know, again, it is what it is, guys. You know, but it's something to be aware of. Again, it's not an excuse. I still think we should be playing better than we have. And, you know, our grandpa, God rest his soul, is rolling over in his grave right now because, you know, you do not want to lose to the damn Raiders. Okay. First and foremost,
never.
There is no team on the earth that I hate more than the Raiders. Bottom line, I cannot stand seeing any Raiders gear or fans, anything of that nature. But yeah, it's something to discuss, guys. So we could definitely talk a lot more about it too. But look, it's frustrating, and I feel like defensively we didn't play well. Offensively we didn't play well. I think bottom line, we didn't make anything happen to win that game. You know, so
I mean, it really just goes to show you too how important Corey Linsley is to our offensive line, because you know Chandler Jones he was a walk in the park, for him every single time. Will Clapp ain't nothing. He was getting clapped.
Yep. Yeah. Well, okay, but see, the problem is it's still a protection scheme, right? It doesn't matter just because one guy is now again. You can make the argument that maybe they're not identifying the Mike linebacker. I was watching a whole article about, you know, Peyton Manning always point out the Mike linebacker. Most of the plays on the defensive scheme come off of the Mike or the middle linebacker in the field. That is, everything's kind of going off of that protection scheme.
Yeah. But
they didn't do anything crazy. Maybe they show all out blitzes and they dropped a few, but come on. Yeah. There's no way these are NFL linemen. They should not be having problems with those things. That's a walk in the park. And dude, Herbert was running for his damn life. I was like, oh my God. I mean, how he even brought the team back at all was beyond me. But anyways, I wanted to highlight this, Aether. Yeah. Play calling's trash. Look, I also think that it's not this game to me, guys. I feel like I'm talking a lot. You know what? Why don't you answer this question? I'll jump in. I need to let my blood pressure come down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm seriously dying. Let me take a look. Oh my God, I'm still over 100 right now, guys. I'm not even joking.
Take a moment. Take a moment. It's all good.
I need to take a breath. I need to take a breath, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we know what Lombardi is, and I mean the guy is an absolute problem on this team. And it's just I wish to be able that we made a move at the bye week. Just put Shane Day in. Just throw him in.
Somebody different. Somebody.
I mean, even if we just traded for somebody too,
Well, you don't trade for coaches that often.
No. I'm not saying for a player, even.
A player. Sure.
But it is just a frustration because it's like, I mean, even to say we started out this game 10-0. Was it 10-0? Yeah, we started 10-0.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we basically got lucky that they missed a field goal. What was it 13-10 at the half? And then everything basically shifted at that point when Eckler dropped that or fumbled that ball. That's when everything literally just changed for this game. From that point, I mean, it was just an absolute mess for us at that point. We gave up basically that flea flicker. I mean, it just seemed like our wind in our sails was gone at that point. Herbert had to be Hollywood Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's funny because it's very synonymous to the way the Chargers play, because it was like we had like those moments of, I think we might have a chance to get back into this.
Brilliance, yes.
Yeah, and then you had that fourth and was it? Fourth and
17 or something like that.
17 or something like that. Bomb
to the end zone. Keenan Allen. Yep.
Yeah. Like, whoa, there we are again. Like, why does it seem like we like stop all the time? Like, we're not a well-oiled machine by any means. We're finding ways to just like halt our progression in some way or another. And it's awful to watch. It's awful to watch. And it's frustrating because there's so much talent on this dang team. And it's like, even with injuries and everything, we're still fighting. It's just,
it's an uphill battle at this point, guys. And look, we've got to go beat Miami. We got to beat Miami now, and we got to beat the Titans.
Yep.
So, guys, that's our next playoff game. I mean, that's it. This is our game. So I'm just going to say one thing about this, Aether, and I thought about this a lot during this game specifically. By the way, and I bought a gold for Charger Gold. This is my gold Google Pixel. I may not wear it ever again because I bought it right before the game, and now it's cursed. So I'm about to take it off completely.
Not good. Throw it away.
Send it
back to Amazon.
Well, I better finally change my underwear because I've been wearing the same underwear since the Cardinals game. It was luck.
They could probably stand. They could probably stand up in the corner. But here's the problem, guys. In the NFL, when you become one-sided offensively, that is a problem. That is a huge – guys, they didn't do anything crazy. They were getting pressure on us with four guys. That is a problem.
Yeah,
and
not good.
Again, the argument always could be like, okay, get the ball out quick. Well, the problem is they weren't really doing that, right? And a lot of the plays, again, were still check downs, or we're still doing little things like that. Lombardi has never adjusted, right? It's like, hey, this is my game plan. I'm going to go. And there's never quick outs. There's never I don't know if you guys saw the very first play that the Dolphins did in this game. It was a thing of beauty. I wish I could play it for you guys right now. They had all this motion, go to the side. It was like, I was like, where the hell is the ball going? And then it was just a complete dime right down the middle, an absolute touchdown, first play of the game. And I remember thinking, holy smokes, why don't we have any plays like that? None of it. So it's very vanilla. Again, I've been saying this the entire season, just extremely vanilla. And we've all been giving up on the running game, and that's sad, right? So again, in short, guys, let me land my plane. If you're one-dimensional in the NFL, you're not going to win, and that's what we are right now. We're one-dimensional. They all know, stop the pass, the run's not going to be there. So what does it matter? That's where we're at. That's the team that we have right now.
Right.
And defensively, we're not doing anything great either. So that part frustrates me. I'll give one last thought too. I'm sorry, guys. I keep talking way too much. Chargers Weekly. Matt Money Smith said, if I'm Brandon Staley, I'm going to choose one person to stop. He wanted to stop Josh Jacobs. He wanted to stop Jacobs.
Yeah.
He wanted to stop him.
Couldn't do nothing though.
Yeah, but they didn't do that either, right? But at the end of the day, double team Devontae Adams. And again, it goes back to the whole Kelsey coverage. Why do we have so many damn different people keep covering Devontae Adams? You had Callahan, you had Davis, you had everybody. I felt Davis played him fairly well.
Yeah.
I would have just put Davis on him 100% and said, go for it. Davis, you got him. He's your guy.
Agree.
Run toe-to-toe with him. And then you have safety coverage up top and leave it at that. And then don't let anybody else beat you, you know?
And why not Derwin on Devontae too? Is that a mismatch for some reason? Like, because I think Derwin would do a good job of locking down Devontae.
He was definitely misused.
And because I mean, he was not even involved in the game. I mean, I've seen him a little bit out there. He wasn't even a factor at all in the game.
Yep.
Like, so the way I view it as is the factor that he could have been is the guy covering Devontae Adams. And he should have been just on Devontae Adams. Yeah, safety basically on a wide receiver. The thing is, though, Derwin's a very, very good coverage guy. And he obviously could be great in the box and everything like that. But you should have probably, if you were going to go back and forth between people, you put Devontae on or DJ on Devontae and then Mike Davis on Devontae. Tall guys that are speedier guys that could cover the guy. I think that what should have been. It seemed like every time they threw it over to Devontae for a big gain, it was Asante, which is a mismatch in my opinion. Just size for size.
Smaller.
Not going to work. Not going to work. So either way, it was, you know, once again, it's just a Charger game where you just try to find some way to be able to make something happen. And that's, it's not smart football in my opinion. And I really felt like they had control early on in this game and then they let it just kind of come back and
slip away.
It slipped away again. And it's so frustrating to watch. So
okay. So guys, let me pose this question to you guys. Is this coaching at this point or is this players giving up?
Yeah.
Or has this team lost? You know, has this coaching staff lost the locker room? Mm-hmm. Right? Because there's some arguments both ways, right? Yeah. So, what do you guys think in the chat below? What do you guys think? Just put your thoughts out there as well too.
You know, it's interesting thing about this game too. Tillery was kind of making a fair amount of plays, and meaning not as in like sacks or anything like that, but he seemed like he had some sort of level, like extra gear to him in this game. And he was putting pressure out there. I mean, he was close for about 2 sacks in that game. And he almost seemed like a totally different player for some reason. So
I mean, it was a revenge game for him, you know. So
it was definitely a revenge game for sure. Let's see what stats he got.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he had anything at all, but
I mean, he didn't get any sacks. He didn't really, but he got he got a hit in there. I think
2 quarterback hits. Yeah.
I mean, but it was more like, I mean, it wasn't like a rough hit, you know, it was just like like a brush, you know, it seemed like, you know, but that was enough for Herbert to have to scramble a little bit.
Yep.
So, I mean, hey, whatever, speed bump, you can't do nothing.
Chandler Jones gets 3 sacks in this game.
Yeah.
3 sacks, guys.
He was eaten.
He had 1 sack all season.
Yeah. He got 1 sack all season. No, might have been
today.
half a sack. I think it was a half a sack. But again, he gets 3 sacks. That's crazy to me, guys.
But that's also because, you know, Will Clapp was in there instead of Corey Lindsley, you know, so it's like,
I mean, Jamari was getting destroyed though too by him.
True.
I mean,
he did.
And that's part of my frustration. It's like, well, so how is it that bad that I mean, again, maybe he just has his number. Maybe he figured something out and said, hey, you know, this move is going to work out and I'm going to get him. Right. And it's sad. 0 sacks on our end. You know, and again, guys, look, we got a touchdown. Bryce Callahan got a touchdown. You know,
that was great.
And it's so weird. It's weird, and I feel like, anyways, there's a lot more we could discuss on this as well too. You know, and I feel bad. I mean, SJD might be out. Who knows what his situation is at this point? But oh my God, guys, we're up against it at this point. You know, and it's rough, right? You know, it's rough, and I kind of get the concept that we don't have as many players. I mean, look, if you look at the defensive side of the ball on the Raiders, they had a lot of players out there. They were rotating a ton of players.
They were.
I mean, they had 5 additional players on us. And you can make the argument that we're banged up, but dude, the waiver wire is always there, guys. Bring in other bodies, right? Even if you need nickel folks. I mean, I'm not seeing JT Woods out there. I'm not seeing anybody out there doing anything. You know, they just put way too many people out there, and I'm sure they were just tired at the end of the day. Sebastian Joseph Day is out. Who knows what his situation is going to be as far as his injury is concerned. The Chargers need to reimburse me. Yeah. For my whole life, right? For my whole damn life.
Yeah.
Especially my tramp stamp tattoo, guys. You guys haven't seen that yet, have you?
Yeah. No, I thought we were getting that after we make the playoffs and stuff, right? Yeah, we're gonna go up to Canada with that one lady.
That one gal. Yeah, we're gonna go up there for sure. Yeah. She said she'll do it for me. Hey, but we had to win a Super Bowl. Don't look like it's happening so far. No, my God, guys. You know, and it's just frustrating. Okay. Oh, UFC Jag. Hey, what's up, man? How we doing?
Yeah, buddy.
Good to see you. So UFC. So let me ask you this question. I know you're cheering for the Jags. You guys destroyed us. Are you of the opinion that we should, and again, he's completely unbiased at this point. Should we get a new head coach? Right. So what are your guys' thoughts? What should the team do right now instead of us talking and having our opinions? What do you think the team should do now? And put your thoughts down below, and then we'll comment it. But UFC Jaguar, I'm specifically asking you. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that, because I know you're a sharp guy, and you obviously cheer for a different team, but you understand football.
Yeah, and let's hear what like a fan of the another team has to say about that, looking from the outside in. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and the hard part of it is that, and something I wrote down, actually, Daniel Popper actually tweeted about this. He said, Chargers haven't scored a third quarter TDA now 7 games. Only 6 points scored in the last 7 games. So that's where the fault is. And where I'm going to go to it is, I get it with the head coach and everything too. We're learning. He's learning on the job. I like Brandon Staley. I like what he's doing. But at the same side, there is that level of, there was a point that I made talking about head coaches when we were talking, did the Sean Payton video and talking about that. The last 2 experienced coaches in the NFL were our best years as Chargers, as a team, which was under Marty Schottenheimer and Norv Turner. Since then, I mean, I can imagine our record is a losing record at that time. And since that point of letting go of Norv Turner, Mike McCoy, Anthony Lynn, to now Brandon Staley. So there is that idea that it's like, if we go to an experienced guy, people keep throwing out this Jim Harbaugh. I guess teams are kind of looking at Jim Harbaugh now. Yeah. And I heard he didn't want to come back to the NFL. He wanted to stay in college. I'm sure money talks at that point.
True.
But it's a tough thing to be able to see that happen. That I don't know, man. The easy target is Lombardi. Bottom line, we're finding 100%. Like quarters where 7 games in a row that we have not scored a touchdown in the third quarter. That is not
production.
That is bad production. That is showing that you don't know how to end a game. You don't know how to make it harder for them. And what did we give up in the third quarter to the Raiders in this one? We gave up 14 points in the third quarter. Regardless of whatever score you have, if you gave up 13 points and you have a 7-game streak of where you can't even score 1 touchdown and 6 points in the third quarter, that's losing football.
You're going to lose. You're going to lose.
You're going to
lose.
You
have to at least match the other team. You have to at least match the other team.
And that's why it ends up that we get in these fourth quarters where we have to figure it out. And like, we need a way to be able to stop them some way or another to be able to get a chance at this game. And that's why we keep having these heart attack games. Like, it's just a frustrating thing. Easy scapegoat for sure, Lombardi. Once again, the head coach does need to actually take control of every avenue of this team.
Yeah.
So there is some fault on Staley for this too.
Yeah. Kyle, what's your thoughts on this too? I've been talking a lot. I feel kind of bad chatting so much here.
It's all good. We're emotional right here.
I know. We're definitely emotional at this point.
No, I get it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the heat right now.
I know.
Yeah. So, but I think you guys are right. I mean, like the bottom line is too is that like if Brandon Staley does not do something about Joe Lombardi, then he's got to go as well. That's what a lot of people in the chat are saying right now too.
Yeah.
Because clearly, I mean, like, but also too, like, I mean, he might need to go too because he's not playing our defense super well. Like, like clearly, like, I mean, we're not actually matching up against the right players. With the right players, but I did notice that whenever Devontae Adams lined up against Michael Davis, he did not do as well every single time. So, but Michael Asante Samuel Jr. was doing worse this game, but he did have that deflection that caused the pick six, though. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I mean that was clutch, but we needed at least one more of those things.
Yeah, exactly. And and the buck stops at the head coach, right? Bottom line, say what you want to say. And I truly believe that Brandon Staley should have let Joe Lombardi go at the bye week, right? And make a switch. But now it's not just a problem around the offense; it's a problem around the defense. And you could argue all day we're banged up. It is what it is. But in Brandon Staley's words, the NFL doesn't give you a pat on the back. You still got to produce. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. There's no ribbons for second place. Great, whatever you contributed. Who cares?
Exactly.
So
it's all about what you're doing this week. It's not about what you did last week, or it's not what you did last year, or 38 years ago. Family, trust, respect. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Okay, I want to get to Aether's question here too. I know he made a statement here. I think this is
you want to talk about UFCF Jaguars thing?
Yeah,
he did answer it, but we never really because we were just still ranting.
Go ahead. Yeah. Here we go. And then we'll get to your question here, Aether.
Yeah. But no, I mean he makes a great point here. Herbert is too good of a cute quarterback to not be able to consistently make the playoffs every year.
Agreed.
Weigh your opinions, and if they're clear, better candidate like Peyton out there wanting to take over, like you don't hesitate, and that was the second part of it. So
and that's absolutely the truth. And we have too much talent with Justin Herbert and what he could potentially be. He is one of those guys that could be, I say, top 5, potentially top 3 type quarterback. He potentially could be one of those guys that he will always give you that playoff guarantee every single year. And going back to the thing, like, and what's UFC Jaguar is saying here too, like there is an idea that Sean Payton is an offensive genius per se, is what they say about him. And if we have a offensive focused head coach, would that shift the way that Justin Herbert plays totally? Will that change the way that this team is and how it operates? Or are we just truly snake bitten as a team? I can't remember who we chatted with. It was, I can't remember his name, but he was at the tailgate last week for the Cardinals game. And he was like, the thing that I don't want to see is Justin Herbert to be that same situation with Phillip Rivers, where
me too.
And I don't, I said the same thing about LaDainian Tomlinson. Man, it's criminal if he doesn't get to a Super Bowl and win one. And then he doesn't get to one. I said the same thing about Phillip Rivers. Man, it'll be criminal if he never gets to a Super Bowl. Never got to one. It's just frustrating. I actually looked up and see how many times Phillip Rivers in 16 years with the Chargers, he only got to the playoffs 6 times. And that's sad to think about. In 16 years, so 10 years, a decade of his career, never went to the playoffs. And I'm sorry, I don't think you could really win. You have to have a phenomenal team. And once again, Phillip Rivers had some fantastic teams early on in his career. But then later in his career, it was like, figure it out, Phil. We got to throw out some undrafted guys out there, and we're going to give you a crappy O-line. We're going to throw in some terrible running backs that aren't really going to do a whole heck of a lot for you. Not saying Austin Eckler is. Austin Eckler's a stud. But there are things that you start thinking, man, like, do we go back to – and I'll say this too. He had Norv Turner and Marty Scheitenheimer as head coaches, by the way. So it's kind of contradicting what I had. But at the same side, those were our best years where we did go 14-2 with him. We did get to the AFC Championship game with Norv Turner. Would an offensive guy out there like Peyton be the guy? I don't know. And I'm not I like Brandon Staley. I'm going to repeat that as many times as I possibly can, but inexperience does show. And that's the thing that's frustrating about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's tough, right? It's especially hard when we have so much talent, right? You know, as a fan, you like how everything happened in the offseason. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're killing it. We've got JC Jackson. We go get Khalil Mack. I'm like, oh my God, look at what's going to happen here.
Yep.
Bosa gets injured. Done deal.
Yeah.
Right. And again, you know, I would say this though, if they do, I'll give you this thought. If they do fire Staley, I think they should wipe everybody out. Just clean slate, 100% clean slate, done deal. Bring somebody else completely in and be done with it. Because part of the problem is, and I see what you guys also say about, you know, Tom Telesco. Tom Telesco, look, I always give like a GM a pass because bottom line, he's just in most cases he has scouts. Scouts are telling him, hey, this guy's good, get this guy. Yeah, he's evaluating players too, but it's a team effort in picking people in the draft. It just is. And then the draft has to go a certain way, yada, yada. We all know how that goes. But, I mean, it boils down to coaching. Now, my argument, and I have not said this yet, I've been thinking through how I want to word this. Look at Speed Bump. Yep. He had a freaking good game, right? Yep. But notice he was sitting on the nose. He was up against Will Clapp most of the game. And I can't think of an absolutely fantastic game. And he did an amazing game, but he had a better game than he's had with us in a long time. That goes to show you that he was coached better on the Raiders side of the ball than he was on the Chargers side of the ball because we weren't using him correctly in any way, shape, or form, right? Why not slide him around a little more, you know? And that is a problem, right? That is the biggest problem there. And it's one of those things where you have to sit back and say, okay, well, Brandon Staley, you're the defensive coordinator. You're the one that made a decision to not have him or let him go. All these injuries are happening now on the defensive line. We're looking worse and worse and worse and worse. How does that mean? You know what I mean? Like it adds up to bad plays and bad calling, bad coaching, bad everything, right? And so again, it's frustrating. Now I will say this. A lot of people are talking about Herbert wanting to get traded. Look, he's in the right place. LA is where he needs to be. But I would venture a guess if this would probably happen if the Chargers do not make the playoffs, which is kind of looking that way. They may step into the Spanos family and say, hey, look, you got Justin Herbert. We want him here because NFL Network is right in your backyard. You want the Rams to be successful and you want the Chargers to be successful. This is LA. That's going to be the Mecca of football moving forward. At least I think they will want it to be that way. Let's get you the right head coach, right? Yep. And get you competitive, right? Because you got a stud quarterback. And now, anyways, we can go into Aether's question as well too. That was kind of going to lead into some of my other part of the question there, but yeah, something to think about, right? Because if I'm a quarterback, why would I not want to be in LA, right? That's the NFL Mecca, right? You could come back into commentating, you could retire early, you could do all kinds of different things, but dude, the guy, everyone knows the guy. He's a stud. So,
you know, and going back to, and everybody wants to pull out their guns right now and fire away at everybody and fire. You know, it's never fun to basically lose against the Raiders. I hate it. And and watching this game made me hate the Raiders even more. Like I absolutely despise watching that game. And I hate them. Absolutely despise watching people wear that stupid silver and black. Like and seeing the gorilla guy in the audience and people looking like it's Halloween every single day in that audience, but just trash.
I saw Captain Jack in there too. Actually, they should.
Oh, you saw Captain Jack?
He was on there. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he was in there.
I had too much red in my eyes, and I was just frustrated looking at the stupid screen.
Yeah.
But so interesting thing. Like, if we're going to look at like head coaches, if we're going to look at changes or whatever here, I just did a quick search just on Jim Harbaugh, just as another guy, because since we did that Sean Payton video and everything like that, I mean. The thing about Jim Harbaugh, he was 44-19-1 with the Niners for basically a 5-year span, 3 playoff appearances, lost the Super Bowl in the Baltimore Ravens in 2012. So it only took him 2 years to get to that point. to get to a Super Bowl. Now, that's kind of crazy to hear. And I remember when he got fired, I think it was more of a lot of internal issues, that there was like a control issue within that team, that he wanted to have a lot more control player wise, GM wise, or whatever it might be, which is why he kind of ended up getting let go, which he's doing some pretty good things, obviously, in Michigan. And, it would be really interesting. And the thing is, like, Jim Harbaugh does have connections with the Chargers. He was a quarterback of the Chargers back in 98, something like that.
It was like right after Humphreys, right before Doug
Yeah.
Flutie or something like that.
It
But
was
he was
something
terrible
in that
for us.
point. Yeah. And
Yeah.
you never know. I mean, and the thing is, though, he did start at UCSD. That's where his coaching starting. Once again, we're not in San Diego, but he's a Southern California guy. So just throwing it out there. I mean, if the Spanoses are going to make a bold move and make this team maybe be a little bit more, and if they're going to, and once again, bold prediction, the Spanoses will probably try to look to be able to sell this team at some point. I'd probably assume in the next 3 to 4 years. If they're trying to build a very quality product, what if they did get a Super Bowl win under their belt? That makes the team worth more
Even
money.
better.
Who knows? It's a product that could be sold, that you could get an extra couple $1 billion or whatever. I don't know. You're starting to see the Walmart guys come in here buying teams and spending money crazy. Like, what if?
Yeah. Can we convince Elon Musk to buy the Chargers?
Elon Musk. Yeah.
There you go.
Now everybody's going to be driving Teslas. Now we got the Charger Tesla edition.
Yeah, there you go. And we already got to go. We're going to be superchargers.
Dude,
look at that.
And we got SpaceX. So now we're going to have a Charger SpaceX. We're going to the moon, boys. Let's go.
That's right. Yeah. Or even Jeff Bezos, we got the Blue Origin, the big old rocket dick flying through the air,
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Amazon Prime Charger Edition, boys. Nobody can avoid us now. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, it's frustrating to watch. We have
it is. Man, look it up. The Blue Origin, like the Amazon ship, looks like a big flying Johnson.
Yeah. I don't even know, man. It's just frustrating to watch.
Just like
awesome guys.
Just like
right. Yeah.
that looks like a big pecker. We're talking about woodpeckers.
Oh, guys. Well, I don't know. I feel like
we're getting a little off track here. Sorry.
Yeah. So what are the things I would Elon Musk?
We lost you for a second there, bro.
Jeff Bezos is. Am I back now?
Oh yeah. You're
am I back now?
For sure. Your connection's you're back, but your connection's 6 out of 10 right now. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Chargers luck, it won't take off though.
It looks fine on mine.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, the one thing is, I know Jeff Bezos was talking a lot about buying a team, and you got to wonder if he could really make that happen. But I would think, though, it sounds to me like he might be, the Washington Commanders are the team that's going to be available for sale right now, and they're kicking ass. So I wouldn't be surprised to me if Jeff Bezos bought them. They're actually one of the most profitable teams in the NFL. So it could be interesting to see what happens with that as well, too. But would love to see Spanos not be our owner. He needs to get a better coach. I love Staley to death, but I don't know. I'm starting to think he's not the guy. Maybe we should do a video, James. Would you guys like to see a video on Harbaugh? We could do a deeper, wider video on Harbaugh and have a discussion with him. Maybe next Friday. What you guys think in the comments below?
Yeah, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea just to kind of look at it. Now, I don't want to be the guy that gets somebody fired for their job or whatever, because we do know that we have Tom Telesco and we have Lombardi watching this.
We got Lombardi. Lombardi's hopping in. Yeah.
I'm sure that Brandon Staley's got a burner account on there too. Maybe it's we'll find out who that might be. We'll kind of maybe.
I think that's the original one. Actually, I think he's
original one. Yeah,
original one.
Right.
That's Telesco.
No, that's Staley right there.
Oh, that's Staley. Okay. Original.
That's his burner.
That's his burner. Yep. He's in the corner. He just got done with his press conference.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to watch, but yeah, we could totally do that if anybody wants to be able to talk about Jim Harbaugh, I think it could be an easy video to be able to just throw out there. So yeah, I'm down to talk about it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this is the comment though that Aether said that he really wanted us to talk about real quick though.
Okay.
Now you see how big of a loss not having Slater. You telling me he is not worth $20 million a year? Well, my bro, it's hard to replace him. Let's go.
It definitely is. I would just say this, that you also got to pay Justin Herbert, and he's going to ask for a lot of money. And so at this point, with all the money we are spending on Allen and Williams and there's only so much money you could throw around at this point, right? So, and look, at least with this ownership, I don't see us spending $25 million on Slater, right? And that's what sucks, is I just don't see that happening. Should he get paid that? Yeah, he probably will, but probably somewhere else is sadly what I'm thinking. So, I don't know that he's going to get paid that much money. So, and that's a bummer. That's a bummer.
I think he will. I think we should be able to, we'll figure out a way to pay him and stuff like that. I mean, because around that time,
the thing about it is,
because I was just going to say, because Keenan Allen's probably going to, he's going to be on his end of his rope there. So I honestly, I don't think that he's going to, that we're going to re-sign him. So that's a huge, basically money in our hands there,
Yep. Yeah, because Allen's contract is done in 2024.
Yeah.
And that will be the same year, the last year of Rashawn Slater's contract, too. So it starts to shift at that point. So at 2025, we'll still have Joey Bosa under contract, Derwin James, Corey Linsley, J.C. Jackson, Zion. I mean, it starts to change a lot from that point. Obviously, we don't have Justin Herbert under that point, but the salary cap is starting to increase further and further and further. So even if we look at like 2024, we currently have $47 million to spend. Now, once again, that's probably when the Herbert extension will probably kick in. Now, I can't imagine it's going to be $47 million unless we do something stupid like the Broncos did, where I think next year it's costing them like $106 million to the salary cap to keep Russell Wilson on that team, which is unbelievable to see something like that. But I think there will be some shifting around and some ability to be able to do that. The thing about it is, a premier left tackle is hard to come by. And if you don't have a premier left tackle to cover your premier quarterback, it's going to be a long career.
It's going to be tough.
Just think of it like with Phillip Rivers. Like, he kind of had some guys that were okay at left tackle, but it really wasn't a solid situation for him. It was like people were shifting around there all the time. Now, it does benefit us a little bit that Rashawn Slater did get injured a little bit this year too. Now that starts to decrease that dollar figure. If you're a guy that's very, very reliable and out there on the field, that's where the big money comes around. But we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Francesco, that's probably a good look at. Well, Eagles are in the NFC though, but then again, I guess you're talking about the 2020 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Half their whole coaching staff came from the Chargers, right?
Yep.
Shane Steichen, that entire group for the Eagles specifically, right? And Nick
Sirianni,
Sirianni, all that stuff, right? And so it's like, oh my god, dude! Like, and think all the kickers that we've let go that are amazing kickers now. You got the Money Badger, Young Wei Koo, right? It's like, come on, dude. And it's like, this is just horrible, And so it's frustrating, as a fan base when you're seeing so many blunders across the board occur, Again, I love Brandon Staley. I think Brandon Staley is fantastic, but he needs to find somebody that could call some plays. See, and I'll say this, it's not just about calling a play. It's also about setting up a good play. Mm-hmm. Maybe running this, play out of a formation. Okay, it's going to be then you do the play action pass, and then it opens up, a screen or some sort of specific type of trick play or something that the defense has not seen. But I would just argue that our defense and our offense and defense have become so vanilla that they know exactly what we're going to do, right? And so they know what to do. They know how to beat us offensively, and they know how to beat us defensively. And so it's That's a problem, right? And
Yeah.
I guess the one frustration I've had with Staley is that I'm tired of him saying we need to execute better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I called the
Then
right
just
play.
effing do it, Like,
Yeah.
stop saying it and just do it, Show
Yeah.
us that you can do it,
And we've consistently, and again, he hasn't come out and blamed his players thus far, but he says, "Yeah, I've called the right play, but nothing was executed correctly." Well, that's coaching, right? That's still coaching.
Yeah.
That's not anything but coaching, right? You coach them to do this play. They didn't execute it correctly. Guess what? That's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you. So, and again, it's frustrating, right? But again, wins are also hard to come by in the NFL. And so you can make arguments about that. I know Brandon Staley says that a lot. But I mean, first things first, you got to fix that offense, man. You got a stud quarterback that needs to not run for his damn life. These past 2 weeks, he has just been dry humped up and down the field, dry humped, and that's just not good. Not good.
I mean, we've had I think I said earlier in the chat, I think it was 9 sacks in the last 2 weeks. So we gave up 4 this week, right? So 5. So we gave up 15 or 14 sacks. I couldn't do math, guys. 14 sacks in the last 3 games. That is terrible.
Yeah,
like that is not
Salyer's giving up a bunch. Yeah.
I mean, Herbert is fighting for his life. I mean, once again, guys, the dude is an absolute rock. He is an absolute stud. He reminds me a lot of like Phillip Rivers in his younger years, like where he's just an absolute stud and just a man. He's just a fighter, and we're not getting enough support. And is it play calling? Yeah, probably. I mean, I think that's truly it. I mean, Frank Reich is another guy that we chatted about as being an offensive coordinator for this team too. I mean, he could be a guy that you could go out there and say, hey, maybe Frank Reich could be the offensive coordinator. He's a stud. And he did great things with Phillip Rivers when he was here. So I don't know. Well, I mean it's a lot to be said. So
yeah, a lot to dissect for sure too, right? And again, guys, at the end of the day, it's frustrating, right? I'm very curious to see what guys. So Tuesday, I'm going to be doing a video on Brandon Staley's notes. I'm going to dissect the hell out of it. I'm always curious to see what he says, and I'm just going to put my own thoughts on it and say, hey, what is he really saying, right? Because I like to read between the lines and put my own, belief system on it to some degree. And really, what is he really saying? So I'm very curious to see what happens here. And look, Aether, I know you really like Staley. I like Staley as well, too. I don't think anybody's saying we don't like the guy. Okay? The guy is great, but he's not performed, right? Yep. And that's the problem, especially with the amount of money that this team has spent. Again, he sat on Tom Telesco and Spanos' lap, went down a Christmas list and got whatever the hell he wanted. And guess what? It's not working. And in fact, if anything, we're regressing as a team. So that's a problem. That's not a problem that cannot go unnoticed in the NFL. It's all about production. It's all about things going the right direction. And look at case in point. Look at the Raiders right now. They've won 3 straight games.
Yep.
And they look like a much better team.
Yep. They changed.
They look horrible. Now they're what? I almost wouldn't be surprised if they beat us record-wise by the end of the season.
That would frustrate me. Now that would probably put a little bit more of the nail in the coffin in some level. And and actually SD Fishin brought up something. He said Frank Reich was terrible with us. So this is actually what Rivers did with Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni. Yep. So he was 2013, 2014, 2015 with Frank Reich and Nick Sirianni.
Yep.
2013, he was 9-7, 2014, 9-7, 2015, 4-12. Okay, cool. They weren't the head coaches, by the way. So they were just the offensive side. So I'm basing on what Phillip Rivers did in that season as an offense and how we performed. We were first year, he was almost 70% completion rate, first in the NFL, 4,478 yards, sixth in the NFL, 32 touchdowns, third in the NFL, 11 interceptions, fourth best in the NFL, 8.2 yards per attempt. I will take that all day right now, by the way. If we get 8.2 yards per attempt, fifth best in the NFL, and a quarterback rating of 105.5, fourth best in the NFL. 2014, 66.5%, third best in the NFL, 4,286 yards, ninth in the NFL, 31 touchdowns, 5th in the NFL, 18 interceptions, 11th best in the NFL. Wasn't that great to be able to have that many picks, but 7.5 yards per attempt, 10th best, with an 8th rating of a quarterback rating of 93.8, 8th in the NFL. 2015, 4th best in the NFL with a 66.1% rating or completion percentage, 4,792 yards, 1st in the NFL. 29 TDs, 7th in the NFL, 13 picks, 7th best in the NFL, 7.2 yards per attempt, 12th best, and 93.8 quarterback rating, 8th best in the NFL. There's consistency in that. There's a consistency of percentages of completions. Now, once again, that could mean that's a mute point because it could just be a lot of checkdowns. But top 5 in that situation.
Yep.
Yards. The worst they had was 9th best in the NFL. Interceptions, TDs, 3rd, 5th, and 7th best in the NFL. Take that all day. Interceptions, he was at the highest at the 11th, but generally at 4th and 7th. Yards per attempt, he was solid and is way better than what we're at now, I'm sure. Even at his low at 7.2 yards. I think we're averaging around the 5.7 or 9 yards per attempt. But his ratings were always at 4th, 8th, and 8th. So I don't think that's really that true of a case. I think Frank Reich can be a very good offensive coordinator and can get the best out of this team. Now, once again, Nick Sirianni's not with us. He is with the Eagles, and he is doing great things with the Eagles. And, it's unfortunate that we find a way to breed good coaches here, and then they go find jobs somewhere else.
Then let them go.
Which is sad.
And again, it's just like what the Eights are saying, ready to give up on Staley, right? Maybe he's our – but we definitely need a different offense mind at this point, right? We definitely do. Now, it goes back to, remember when Staley was offered the job, he wanted to bring in – why am I drawing a blank on I always forget the guy's name, the head coach of the Vikings now. He was the guy that he wanted to bring in over to Lombardi. What's his name, James?
Nick Sirianni?
The head coach. No, for the Vikings, the head coach of the Vikings. Remember he wanted to come in?
Kevin O'Connell.
Kevin O'Connell was supposed to be the offensive coordinator under Staley when he got the head coaching job, but McVay would not let him interview for the position. So Lombardi was really sort of the second choice. And again, you can make an argument all day. Again, what you're starting to see, and this is really what I'm starting to see more of anything, is that Staley is a first-year head. Well, this is his second year, but everyone he brought in was essentially a first-year head coach.
Young. Yeah,
right?
Very young.
Very young. There was nobody he brought in that was really even had any real experience. And when we start talking about, Harbaugh, right? How many college head coaches have done really well making that transition to the NFL? I mean, some have done all right, but it's a different game. It's a very different game, right? You can't really run the spread. You can't really run the RPO the same way because the defense is just that good. So again, I like Staley, but again, it's still, you got to produce. At the end of the day, you got to produce, and that's what we're not doing. And that's been my biggest argument, right? So I don't know, but it's amazing to me. I mean, you're still looking at Justin Herbert's stats. Holy smokes. 335 yards, 7.1 yards, and he only got 1 touchdown, but nothing rushing. The whole team is on his back. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. It's too much. It's too much for one person to carry, right? And that's not football. You have the whole team. The whole team has to produce.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And actually, I was just going to pull up right now just as my point of how we are doing as an offense. Currently, right now, I'm looking at a per play. Oh, man. Yards per play, 5.2 yards. I mean, that's not good. I'm sorry. That's not good. And I guarantee a lot of that's got to be at probably one of the lowest in the league, in my opinion, as an offense. And that's a bad stat to look at. Now, 5.2 yards per play, if you're getting a run 5.2 yards, that'd be great. But I guarantee a lot of these numbers, and that number is based upon Justin Herbert throwing, prayers, basically. So I don't know. Yeah. It's a hard thing to watch.
It is. And again, I think being out coached is exactly correct. I remember watching the Chiefs game, right? Leaving a little too much time for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And look, guys, we're splitting hairs. We're talking about the damn Raiders right now, guys. I'm sorry. They are not the Chiefs. They're not the Niners. The Niners are the best defense in the league. So you lose like this to the Raiders. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Hey, they beat us today. We beat them the first time. They're not the Chiefs. They're not the Niners, right? And we're talking about playoffs, and we're not even looking like we're not worthy, right? We're Wayne's World.
We're not worthy.
We're not worthy.
We're not worthy.
We suck. We suck, right? And guys, that's the point, right? And again, we're not, and it's oddly, we're doing great on special teams, to some degree at least, but God, just we're not doing what we need to do on both sides of the ball to really make a difference. And that's just coaching, guys, right? So I don't know. I'm really excited to see Staley's notes on Monday and see what he says. I'm really excited to read what he says. Hell, I wouldn't be shocked if there were some major shakeups this Monday. I promise you Staley's having very awkward conversations right now that are probably putting some heat underneath him. And look, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And that's a big part of what we got to do, right? And, look, in the NFL, you got to win. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Aether's now saying, though, so thinking about the Dolphins game now a little bit, though, Waddle and Tua actually got hurt, and they might not be playing next week. So that gives us a little bit of hope for the Dolphins, I would say, too.
Yeah, they'll play.
Yeah.
Everyone talked about Josh Jacobs not playing, and he was fine. He beat the shit out of us. So, I'm saying
what
you want to say.
If it's concussion protocol, though, like he has to sit out, just like Corey Lindsey did.
It's actually an ankle. It's an ankle.
It's an ankle. Concussion's different. It wasn't concussion.
Yeah. It's not a concussion, so it's just an ankle.
No, they're going to play. They'll be fine. And it is what it is. Good call, Aether, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? So look, hey, y'all want to be optimistic. Hell, I want to be optimistic.
Yep.
But it's tough, right? It's tough. Maybe we should end with this and with some final thoughts, and you guys put your final here as well too. I was thinking about this as we were coming up here I will say this. Doing this podcast has made me a better fan because it's made me more realistic in my team. Yeah. And I'm telling you this right now, guys, because I'm a person. You guys are people, right?
Yeah.
We're brothers. Us brothers, we know our faults. We all know our faults. We're not perfect with each other. We have our own arguments. We have our own situations. But bottom line, guys, at the end of the day, you could have a coach have the best play call, but you know what? The team doesn't execute it correctly. Well, is that coaching or is that the wrong players? All kinds of conversations. Yep. My point is this. In the NFL, it's always about winning. Every job, it's about production. It's about doing things correctly. It's about moving the ball up and down the field. Where I think Brandon Staley's really gotten himself into trouble and where I think he's going to have a hard time justifying being a head coach, potentially if we don't make the playoffs, is he spent a shit ton of money this offseason and we're not making the playoffs again.
Yep.
I'm sorry. That does not look good. Okay. That does not look good. And you could argue with that all day. Now, if I'm him, I would fire Lombardi flat out, at least show that you're making a change. But I don't know that he's going to do that. So that's okay. Well, then you're going to hang yourself, right? And so that's my thought. I had a lot today. So anyways, I don't know what your thoughts are, guys.
A lot of people are talking about the playoffs and everything. Weston Herbert, if that's actually you, Justin Herbert, we know who you are.
I love you, buddy. Yeah. Hey, hop on our podcast anytime you want, my dude. Anytime.
Yeah, hit us up, dude. Hit us up. Yeah, and the one thing too, like in talking playoffs here, we have to keep our eyes on, I'm going to say the Jets, and we're going to have to keep our eyes on the Bengals. Why I say the Bengals? Did they beat the Chiefs today? They did. Did they beat the Chiefs? I don't know. I haven't been paying enough attention to, by the way.
I know. I was over here having a heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I had they did beat the Chiefs. Okay. They did beat the Chiefs 27-24. So the thing about it is that and that's a massive win for them, by the way.
That's a big win. And
They
it's a
have
big
a-
loss for us.
Yep. They have a pretty tough schedule for the rest of this year. So the next 5 games are very, very tough for them. Now, for the Jets, we got things going on with Mike. Well, gosh, what is our freaking quarterback? My brain is fried from stressing out about this dang game. But they have basically their quarterback situation going there with Mike White. And then, who's going to be the guy? Is Mike White still going to be the guy? I thought he looked pretty good watching this game, but he wasn't able to execute a touchdown late in the game twice, basically, for them. Now, I think that we have to keep our eyes really, really peeled on the Jets. Wherever the Jets go, if they lose, which we lost, we're still 1 game back from them.
Yep.
So the thing about it is there is like this very, very slim chance that the 7th seed could go to a 9-8 team. Now, very slim chance that's going to happen, but at the same side, anything can happen. So that means also potential, which is crazy to think about. Think about potentially having the Raiders even getting involved in the playoff race, which this game could have been way more critical just for the fact if we became 9-8 and it became, week 18 and we're both 9-8, they own the tiebreaker at this point, I believe. They would get in and they would burn us once again, year 2, once again. And so there is this idea that we just have to keep an eye on the Jets, and we're still in the thick of things. It's just that road is way harder now. Way harder because there was 4 winnable games for the rest of the season. We just lost one of those winnable games. Not a good situation for us. So Bosa coming back, Wuston Herbert, dude, good thing because you're the insider for us. Thank you.
Yeah, Justin, we love you,
Herbert.
buddy. Hey, I'm going to send you my jersey. Can you sign it for me, please, my dude? We got a bunch of rookie cards. We got.
Oh, I got cards for days.
Hey man, look, I got helmets, I got all kinds of shit here, dude. I want it all signed right here. No problem. Let's go for it. So, anyways, continue.
Those are my last little thoughts here about this more than anything. So I'll pass the mic over to Kyle.
All right. Actually, my playoff model actually did get updated here.
Oh,
so it actually looks like if we can potentially lose to the Dolphins, but we have to beat the Titans, Colts, and the Rams, and we can potentially lose to the Broncos at that point, and we'll make the 7th seed at this point.
Yeah,
and then
there's chance.
There is a chance.
Tell me there's a chance.
I'm telling you a chance. But if we beat both the Titans and the Dolphins, we'll make the 5th seed.
Yeah.
If we lose to the Titans, we can potentially lose or get to the 6th seed. So there's a very real chance, guys, still for us to make it to the playoffs. I don't really care. Okay, it hurts. It hurts to still lose to the Raiders, And you ain't gonna lie. But you know what hurts more is when we beat the Raiders, because the Raiders fans hate us so much because we don't got no championships. Man, they're like, mirror. They throw that in our face all the time. You know what? That's why it stings even more because we lose and they don't. We have no championships and they do. But you know what? That's why it hurts them more when we actually beat their ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
But the thing is, though, those rings are real dusty and they're looking rusty too at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
That's right.
And the owner has like the weirdest,
weirdest
haircut I've ever seen in my entire life.
No, he does. Right?
Oh my god!
Exactly.
It looks like a bowl cut or something. Like what the hell's up with this guy, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
exactly.
god!
But you know what though? I mean, here's the truth though. It's like most of the Raiders fans ain't never even seen them win that championship though.
Very true.
And so that's kind of where it's at. Of course, we ain't never seen the Chargers win a championship too. So it's all good.
Yep.
Hey, I understand that. It's all good. But we're gonna see it happen in the next 10 years. That's for dang sure. That's for sure.
Right.
I'm making that bet right now. Yeah. Well, yeah. So,
well, guys, yeah.
Just to wrap up for this game. Yeah, it's a tough loss. I'll kind of I have my bottle of bleach right here next to me right now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a little shot, and then I'm gonna cozy up into bed though. So yeah, I mean, we beat it with a dead horse. That the coaching needs to change. The coaching needs to adjust, and they haven't been adjusting every single time. In the half, they're only a 1/2 team, and they're not playing all 60 minutes of this game, and that's what's frustrating me the most. Like we give up in some way, and like we just don't make changes, but they are making the changes to us. And Wagner said that again for the Niners. It's like, oh, they pretty much just did one thing one or two
One
things,
play.
whatever, on defense, and it stopped us every single time.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, when we see that, we need to make those changes too.
Yeah. And it boils down to coaching. So guys, we're gonna have more content. I know this one stings. Put your comments down below. And guys, if you have ideas on things you want us to do videos for, let us know, right? Because we're thinking about doing Harbaugh. I always review the notes on Monday from Brandon Staley's press conference. I'm going to dig deep into that on Tuesday. But if you have some ideas or some things you'd like us to do, do a video on, let's put them down below. We love to see what your thoughts are, and we'll put some content out there for you guys specifically. So always appreciate having you guys around.
Yep, appreciate it, guys, man. And hey, season's still in front of us. We'll see how it goes. Some dominoes need to fall to our favor. So, man, I just saw that with Aether. Yeah, so basically, Jim Harbaugh's coming back. Probably would be kind of a silly point for us even to talk about at this point, but either which way.
By the way, Larry, if we did that, honestly, I probably would be kicked off of YouTube. I swear way too much, and I'm not joking. Like, it would maybe be entertaining for you guys, but I would be. Actually, I'll be honest with you. It could be fun to try once in a while. I don't know. I guess we could do it, but. Man, I don't know, man.
You got to fix your internet first, though. You got to fix your internet first, because man, you're looking like fuzzy, man. Hey, you got like a freaking Nokia like for a webcam right now.
It's weird because I'm looking perfect in what I'm seeing, so I don't know.
Hey, are you looking at a mirror? Are you looking at a mirror then, bro?
No, I'm looking at. Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, man.
Look at my hair. You're looking good, guys.
Hey, your hair's looking sharp. It's all good.
Yeah, right.
But it's pixelated. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, you did. Yeah, you got a straight up 8-bit phone over there. Listen.
Yeah. Right?
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I love you, bro. Guys. For sure.
Yeah. Yep. I love you guys.
See you, dudes.
We'll see you in the next one. Yep. Dolphins coming up. Hey, did you guys want to come out to the game, or are you guys planning to come out, or before we go? No, you're not. Okay.
No, I'm not coming out.
No, and so some of you guys may or may not know, I'm actually gonna be heading down to Arizona, so I'll be down there for most of the winter. I'm gonna be a snowbird. I'm gonna be down there kicking it with games, playing softball, hitting freaking nukes, guys. Just straight up nukes.
Home runs. Talks about
getting some dingers.
0-4, 4 Ks, dude. Come on now. Those ain't nukes. Those ain't nukes.
Hey, that's puke. Record me hitting nukes, son. Record me hitting nukes. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it. You're like, oh my god. I'm gonna call my shot just like the babe, dude. I'm just like this.
Oh, jeez, this dude. This dude. Snaps.
Yikes. All right, guys. Hey, well, with that, we'll let you guys go. Hey, we're having a good time though, so we'll kind of keep up with all the news throughout the week, and we'll do some things during the day with James and Andrew. I'll do something at night and stuff like that too. So I'm gonna test some things out, and we'll have some good times coming up though. So stay tuned. We like doing a lot of different things, so keep up with us.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Bolt up,
bros.
Don't
see you, boys. Let's go.
Yeah.